My hair has been something I've been quite insecure about for sort of a number of years now, as it's kind of slowly deteriorated and falling out. You know, I've got those receding lines at the front, and certainly the bald patch on my crown. And after being introduced to the idea that I could get a hair transplant, I've kind of opted for that rather than going bald. Now, before you start dropping me messages and saying, oh, you know, you've gone for a more expensive option here, why didn't you just kind of shave your head and, you know, be done with it? And the truth is that I have actually tried that, or I got as close to as short as I could possibly make it, to realize that I quite like having hair, and I would rather have an attempt at a hair transplant first, see how that turns out, and then from that decide if I will kind of just accept my fate and just shave the rest of my hair off. Hair transplants in London are ridiculously expensive. So I haven't actually opted to do it in London. I've gone to the one place in the world that is famous for doing its hair transplants, and that is actually Istanbul in Turkey. Today, right now, is the night before I do my trip to Istanbul. So today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm going to have the surgery on the Friday, and then I'm going to be coming back on the Saturday. So it's that quick. The turnaround is that quick. So as far as I know, my surgery is going to be pretty much all day on the Friday. Now, the max they usually limit the grafts to is about 4,000 grafts, simply because they don't really want to cause too much trauma to the head. Trauma to the head. You know, and they want it to be able to heal properly and not really scar. I'm also really lucky that over the last few years, since my hair had started receding, that my hair stylist or hairdresser based in London had actually had me take care of the rest of my hair that I still had. So my sides and my back are incredibly thick right now. The density is really high. It's great. I think when I end up seeing him on the Friday, I'm hoping, one, he's gonna be incredibly confident with the fact that I've got some great hair on the sides and on the back of my head, and two, I really hope that he tries to sort of use more grafts than they've suggested or recommended that they would be able to take out. So with that all in mind, the last thing I'm going to do is I want you to just kind of see up close what my hair looks like, and then I'm probably going to have a very early night tonight and we'll get started tomorrow. Okay, so I mean, you can kind of see here, so here's all the receding lines, you know, so you can kind of see my hair's just gone ridiculously long at the moment. I haven't had it cut in about like 2 months, and because of getting it all shaved off, I didn't see the point in, you know, going to a hairdresser or even cutting it myself. So I can't really do very much with it, but it has been able to show me just really how thin, you know, my hair is right now. And you can kind of even see like on my crown as well, just how bald that is. And, you know, this is a big insecurity. You know, I've had like clients say like, oh, Daniel, you're worrying over nothing, but they've got amazing hair. You know, they haven't got bad looking hair. I mean, like the moment the wind blows, you know, I can't really do anything with this, and it just looks a complete mess. So I can't wait to hopefully have like this bit and this bit filled in. All of my hair here will be even thicker, and of course the crown will be filled in as well. Now they reckon about 6 months for that to start really getting populated and looking nice and thick, up towards a year, and the crown sort of between about 12 months to 15 months for that to really properly fill in. So I'm certainly understanding like that's going to take longer, but if that fills in, that certainly for me is going to give me back, I think, a lot of the confidence, you know, that I kind of feel like I'm missing really from having good hair and just being around a lot of attractive people that have good hair. So that's it for tonight, and you can join me for my start of my journey tomorrow. Right, it's just gone 6 in the morning. I got up at 7, quickly showered, had food and stuff. Now just heading to the station. It's obvious already. As you can see, everyone else is rushing to also get their hair transplanted. I can't even speak this morning. A little bit tired. Not allowed coffees. Partly with my trainer, but also that they've requested to not have any caffeine, especially for a few days before the actual transplant. So I'm sort of extra tired. I've got my flight at about 25 past 10. I know I've given myself plenty of time to get to the station, but as I've got to get down to Heathrow, don't really want to risk it. I'd rather be there early than late. So it's been 3 weeks now since I had the hair transplant, and as you can kind of see, my hair looks very different to what you've just watched in the first half of this video. I want to end up taking this time to really just share with you what my experience was like from sort of start to finish with the journey out to Turkey, getting the transplant done, how I was kind of cared for, what the aftercare was, and really just as well what my experience has been over the last 3 weeks since having the transplant done. I think to begin with, we'll just start at where I hopped on the plane at Gatwick, flew over to Istanbul, and we'll kind of start there. So I got out of the airport and I was greeted by a guy who works for the company who took me to my own personal taxi. Now, this taxi was actually very luxurious. It was kind of like a minivan, but it was done up in like this real VIP style way, which I must admit was very snazzy. And the chauffeur took me from the airport to my hotel, which was in the city centre. Now, I didn't actually realise that even though I went through Istanbul's main airport, it's still an hour away. So the actual journey from the airport there took an hour, but considering the kind of luxury that I was in and the beautiful views that I got to see along the way, it really actually wasn't an issue at all. I actually quite enjoyed it. It made the experience just a little bit more relaxing because I was nervous, to say the least, to be doing this on my own and with very few people actually knowing about it. So we arrived at the hotel, and now I don't speak a word of Turkish at all, so I wasn't sure what I was going to say to the front desk of like yeah, I'm staying here, I'm having a transplant done on my head. I had no clue, but they actually did speak English, so it was all good, and they had it all booked in for me to be staying in the hotel, and then the guy at the front desk actually took me and my luggage up to my room. Now, my room actually was really nice, to say the least. It wasn't massive, but to be honest, it had everything that I needed. Now, I can't remember what the name of the hotel was, but truth be told, I don't know if the hotels change with the surgery or if they actually keep going through the same one. But I decided that because it was already getting late, I didn't really want to go exploring at all. I had very limited internet connection on my phone. I didn't really have any data that I could use, so I wasn't prepared to start exploring in case I was going to get lost. And it was already getting dark as well at that time. Right, I haven't long arrived at the hotel. I am absolutely knackered after the long journey. Got up at 5 o'clock. This is UK time. Got to the airport for about I think it was just before 8 o'clock. because it was out in Heathrow, so it was a bit of a journey. I had to wait around for a bit. I got there too early, and then the queues getting through to the flight was a little bit insane. But eventually got on the flight. Flight was just under 4 hours, and then there is a 2 hour time difference here, so I essentially lost 6 hours to get here, and then I lost another hour with the taxi drive from the airport to the hotel, which was included in the price that I paid for the hair, and the hotel and the driver experience was great. I'm so glad that all of that was just part of the package and was made my life a lot less stressful, or made the experience, well, it made the experience more stress-free by not having to worry about all of these things and having them all taken care for me. But I've got the surgery tomorrow. I've been asked to get up or be ready in the lobby for 7:45, which would be the equivalent of 5:45 back home. So I'm certainly going to be knackered, which means I'm going to need to, and they also want me to have breakfast and stuff in the morning. Again, I'm not allowed to have any caffeine or anything, which means I'm getting up at probably the equivalent of about 4:30 again, UK time, in the morning to get up, shower, get dressed, go downstairs for breakfast, and then be ready for the pickup to the surgery, which I had a look on Google Maps, and it's only around the corner from the hotel, which isn't too bad, but I still get chauffeured there, which is good. So I don't think I'm going to end up exploring Turkey tonight, which is a shame, but as I'm so tired, and as I'm going to have to be up really early anyway tomorrow, in a minute or very shortly I'm going to go and have dinner. I'm going to just eat in the hotel, to be honest. Downstairs they've got a restaurant, so I'm going to have some proper Turkish food, I think, and then early start tomorrow. The surgery is going to be all day from what I gather, so it's going to be I guess it's an early start. I think probably be done by like maybe 6 or 7, depending if they start maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that. We'll see. And we'll have a very, very different hairstyle, I think. And I think as well, because it was on my mind on the way down here, I might ask them if they'd be quite happy to film me having my head shaved. Which I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the whole thing will look like shaved. I did during lockdown, like shave like all of the sides, and I wasn't brave enough to do the top. I'm just looking at myself, but I wasn't brave enough to do the top, and it kind of, I don't know, it just didn't quite suit me. So it's going to be interesting having my hair by no choice, taken down to practically nothing. But then, the long process of getting the surgery will begin, and I'm nervous, but it's a good nervous. It's kind of like that anticipation, that excitement of like something like really, really amazing is going to happen, but I'm like scared for that moment to approach, and and I felt it the whole journey from London to here, just that kind of like there's no going back kind of feeling. You just got to keep sort of moving forward or pushing forward, and I know it'll be fine. From what my friends told me who had it done, and even the guy who works here, when he helped me bring my luggage up, he even said as well, you're in good hands. And I've even watched a few more testimonials from the surgeon, and I think it's going to be all right. So it's going to be great to actually see this all filled in and completely shaven. I mean, cool, that's going to be nuts. Anyway, I'm gonna just rest up for a little bit longer, go and have food, and then I think I'm gonna have an early night, because right now I don't think my body clock is quite handling the early start and the long traveling. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Today is the big day. I found I quickly got dressed, well, had a shower, got dressed. I'm gonna head downstairs, have a breakfast, because I know I've got a long day ahead of me. It's really early for me right now. So although I got up at 6:30 Turkish time, that's 4:30 back in the UK. So as you can imagine, I am tired, really tired, but I'm gonna persevere. Definitely I felt the nerves today, but with looking at myself in the mirror, I just keep reminding myself, like, you know what, I want something that I'm happy with, and this is certainly a way to do it. So I'm going to keep moving forward, and yeah, we'll see what happens next, I guess. But as I say, I'm hoping that they'll allow me to have it recorded with my head being shaved. So it gets to roughly about 8 o'clock, and one of Dr. Ilka's assistants comes and picks me up from the hotel. We then take a taxi to the clinic, where then I got to meet Dr. Ilka. I had to kind of sign some forms just to say, you know, like what I'm going to be expecting with the surgery, and that, you know, I understand, you know, all the health and safety behind it. You know, so it was really good. You know, it was a bit nerve-wracking, because you're seeing all these forms. You're like, oh my God, right? Am I certainly sure I want to do this? But you know, at the back of my mind, I was sort of thinking there, also remembering that I'm here for a reason. You know, and I really want to get this done. I really wanted to get this area of my life sorted to hopefully bring back some extra confidence. You know, because my hair was the one thing that I was very insecure about. So shortly after signing all the forms, my head was shaved. Now, it happened so quickly, and in a way I'm kind of glad how fast it happened, because, you know, I was really building up that anticipation of like oh my God, like, you know, I really don't want to lose this hair, but it needs to go and stuff. And actually it was just done, and I felt just so much relief once it was all shaved. And you know what? The moment I got to see what my head looked like in a mirror, like fully shaven, I instantly knew that I'd made like the right decision with getting this done. Being bald, like fully shaven, like as if like a 1 or a 0, I felt it just really didn't suit me at all. So I knew in that moment that I'd made at least the right decision, and I was very happy to go ahead with getting it done. I've never had it this short on the top.
How's it going? How's it going, Dan? You look...
Oh God, this will be interesting to see in the mirror afterwards.
I will show you.
Oh my God, I can feel the hair.
Here you go. He lost his hair.
It's a shame because you can't see me smiling as with the mask on.
Okay. Check yourself in the mirror.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh God, let's see what I look like.
See what you look like.
Oh wow, I kind of look a bit like an evil villain from like a Bond movie or something. Okay.
Okay. Take the mirror. If you want to hold it, you can hold it, yeah?
Okay. So strange.
Yeah. So we'll keep going.
So after that, Dr. Ilka had a look at my head now that he could really fully take a look at the grafts and stuff. So he observed and he gave me this realistic expectation of the fact that they're going to start from the front and then kind of work their way back. At the time, he'd sort of said, like, I think we're only going to get about 3,000 grafts for you. Because, you know, with getting older, I didn't have as much as maybe what he'd hoped for. But he said, you know, we'll see. I don't think that there's really going to be enough for the crown at that moment either. So I would probably need to go back or consider going back for a second transplant, which, you know, at the moment, at that time, I was kind of like, well, I am getting older. You know, I understand, like, I'm not gonna have like a crazy afro hair here, like maybe what I had when I was 18 years old. But, you know, it would be nice at least, yeah, to have the front kind of filled in and look much fuller. So I totally understood. What actually turned out was I got a load more than 3,000 grafts. So I will state that now in case you're wondering, like, oh, well, he didn't get enough. No, I actually got exactly what I was estimated, which was about 3,700. And actually they only managed to sort of get about 20 grafts less than what I was predicted. So the actual surgery itself lasted sort of roughly around about like 8-9 hours. I got to have sort of there was a 1 hour break in the middle of the day, which I got for lunch, which they sort of given to me. It was actually a really nice healthy lunch, I must admit. Just every now and again, I got to have like a 10-minute break to go to the toilet and stuff, but I was pretty determined for them to plow through. Yeah, no, that was a very strange experience having that done. Painless, absolutely nothing to worry about with that. But just funny that how relaxed I've been throughout that, but my heart has just been racing like crazy. So that was kind of surreal, being relaxed, but yeah, feeling that kind of rush of adrenaline there. But yeah, no, so far so good.
Yeah.
Can't complain at all, really. I've got to definitely say, like, the nurses did such a fantastic job, and same for the surgeon as well, Dr. Ilka. I think they all did really, really well. So the package, again, that I went for was that the nurses would extract the grafts on my head. So they kind of do like this numbing thing, which was totally painless, didn't hurt at all. You kind of get like this little weird, like, it feels like a tiny bee sting, and then you just feel this like vibration thing, and then before you know it, that's it. And after about 10 minutes, your head just goes completely numb, and they do that all over. So it was great. So you don't feel a thing whatsoever. So the nurses extracted all of the hairs. So they extracted the 3,680 hairs. Dr. Ilka then made the incisions into my head.
Happy?
Yeah. How long was that so far?
We're doing your extraction right now. When extraction finished, the doctor will start to make your incision.
Okay. Yeah, how long was I in there for?
Yeah.
Was that a couple of hours?
A couple of hours, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it passed. Oh my
fast.
God. Yeah.
And then I had the nurses put the actual transplanted hair back in, because there's only one direction that the hairs can go in, you see. So it made sense to go for that middle package. I didn't really want to go and have the surgeon do everything. I thought, or felt, that was probably a bit too extreme. But if you do have the money, then I would say, you know, opt for that. But otherwise, you can't go wrong, I don't think, with the middle package. And you've certainly got the comfort in knowing that after the hairs have been extracted, they can only go in one direction as long as the surgeon has made the incisions correctly. So at the end of the day, I then had like this sort of bandana thing put on my head as well that kind of held all of the anesthetic in the top of my head. So of course it had kind of like swollen just a little bit. But after that, I was then taken in a taxi back to my hotel. And because it was so late and I definitely wanted to get my rest, so I could see the surgeon again in the morning to have my kind of like aftercare training. I had dinner in the hotel, which actually was incredibly good. It's so much cheaper out in Turkey, I will tell you that now. I think I probably spent about £4 on like a really big meal of like a chicken sheesh and rice and salad. So you certainly get your money's worth of meals whilst you're out there. But after that, I went back to my hotel room and I just rested, and then eventually I went to sleep. So I had to kind of sleep sort of somewhat upright, which wasn't great. I did kind of wake up sort of on the hour, but fortunately that did kind of ease as time has gone on over the last couple of weeks. So roll on my last day, I went back in for my aftercare where they washed my hair, they gave me all my medication and my shampoo stuff and told me what to do with them over the coming weeks. And that was it. And then I was kind of sent on my way, and I had another chauffeur take me from my hotel again after I got dropped off, back towards the airport, and then back to London within that same day. So I was probably back by about 7 or 8 o'clock, and my whole time out there was probably, yeah, about 2 days, 2.5 days in total. So the experience just went really, really quick. Okay, so now what happened over the last 3 weeks? Well, first of all, just in regards to sleep, you know, it was very difficult trying to sleep properly when, you know, I'm having to prop up my pillows, I'm not allowed to roll over. You know, it was difficult. I've got used to it now. In fact, I'm kind of waiting just to hear from the surgeon if it's okay now for me to kind of lay down properly, because I do kind of miss being able to like roll over on the sides. But after that first week, or after the first couple of days, I was able to take the bandana off, which eventually kind of meant that the local anesthetic that was being held by this bandana would eventually start running down my face. So during that time, eventually I was able to start just washing my hair just very, very gently. I carried on taking the painkillers because, you know, I certainly had a bit of stinging sort of here and there, as well as sort of like numbness here and there as well, because of the incisions, you know, the nerve endings are temporarily damaged and can take sort of anywhere between I think it's about like a month to 6 months to heal, you know, so like I've got certain parts still on my head that are still numb, but from what I've already read from people online, like this is still a very temporary thing. All of it will heal, and truth be told, I am getting sensation back in areas even after 3 weeks, and certainly as time goes on. So that was the first week. The second week, I certainly dealt with a very puffy face, as my face had swollen from the local anesthetic. But all I could do really is just keep staying hydrated, keep kind of moving around the apartment. I got given this hat that looks absolutely ridiculous. So fortunately, I've been able to just sort of stay indoors. I'd warned clients that I wasn't going to be able to see them during this time. So it did mean that I could sort of somewhat stay indoors, and I didn't have to leave the apartment only except when I needed to. So eventually the swelling went down, and also as my head was healing, you know, the actual grafts started to scab, which is also a normal occurrence because it's just where the holes are closing up and healing as well. So all of the sides and the back had healed first. Whereas with the top, when I was kind of washing my hair, I was only allowed to kind of like pat first of all. And then eventually what has happened in my sort of like latest week, in this third week that's just completed, I've been able to kind of just be not aggressive, but just sort of like rub it with a slight bit more force. And all of the scabs have now completely gone. And this is really where the sort of like next phase of the hair transplant kind of begins. So I'm now going through what is called the ugly duckling phase, which is basically where, and this what tends to scare people, is that the grafts that have been planted will start to kind of like fall out. And I have just started to notice like the odd hairs in the shower, or sort of on my pillow in my bedroom. Now, this is actually a normal thing, and it's not the grafts that are falling out, it's just the hair follicles that are falling out. Now, in fact, something that I did forget to mention is that I've been really, really lucky with the grafts that I had put on the top of my head. Now I had what's called a lot of doubles and triples, which are basically where there's multiple hair follicles in that single graft. And I had a lot of 2 hairs and 3 hair grafts. So I've actually got about 8,000 hairs that have actually been planted on my head, which is great. Now going back to the actual hair follicles falling out though, this is just where the old hair that has been transplanted is just dying due to lack of oxygen, and the new baby hairs from the roots, which are sort of like fully kind of sealed and planted in the head after about 72 hours after the surgery. So after 3 weeks, you know, I'm guaranteed that the hairs are secure, and all the bits that are falling out are just the dead hairs. But what I will then start seeing is over the coming months, or over the next 3 months, which is what the ugly duckling phase has been dubbed, those hairs will fall out and new hairs will start sprouting through, these new baby hairs. So I've already as well been told to have the expectation of the 6-month mark is when I will really start seeing my hair filling up and getting quite thick and having the volume that I'm hoping for. But I think if anything right now, I'm just kind of hoping to get that length back, you know, of my normal current hair that is actually on the top. So at least I can start doing something with it. But certainly I would say, you know, the confidence in myself has changed so much since getting it done. The moment I got home from the surgery and was able to really look at myself in the mirror, I had the biggest smile on my face and just felt just so much more comfortable and happier in my own skin. So if you are someone who really is bothered by their hair, like, I mean, it's always on your mind all the time, just how it makes you feel about yourself, then certainly I would recommend to at least have a consultation with someone about maybe getting a hair transplant. Now, if I'm certainly permitted to, I'm going to have a link in the description to the company that I went through. I genuinely believe that they did such a fantastic job. I can't thank their team enough. I was so looked after out there. You know, the support that they gave me was really, really good. Someone was with me all the time. I was always looked after. So people were always checking in on me. And, you know, and I think the nurses as well did an amazing job plowing through, putting in like 3,700 hairs. You know, I mean, they probably got like real strong muscles, you know, just from the dedication that they did. And there was 3 of them as well doing it. So for it to take as long as it did, you know, is amazing. It's such a precise and delicate job to do. So you know, if you ladies are watching, thank you so much for what you did, and definitely as well, Dr. Ilka, thank you again for your help with it. And Miss Jansu as well, thank you for helping me as well, and also giving me the support. And I guess if anything, you know, the next sort of few months or even the next year is going to really tell how my body and my head reacts to the new grafts and the new hair. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed that, you know, all goes well and my hair grows, you know, really nice and thick. But I'm going in with kind of like no expectations here. The fact that I already feel confident in myself, the surgeon and his team are confident in the result that I'm going to get. They were really impressed how many doubles and triples I had of my hair. So we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, if anything, for watching this. At the same time of making this video, since the surgery, every single day I've been taking a photo of my hair. So once 365 days are done, I will have a link at the end of this video. Otherwise, do check it out on my channel, or subscribe to my channel and then come back in roughly about a year's time, and you'll be able to see a full 365-day photo transformation of my head on the first day, to it being swollen, to the ugly duckling face, to hopefully what will be an amazing set of hair. So thank you very much for watching, and I am Cameradan, and don't forget to subscribe and look forward to another video.